The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Monday Night Meltdown. We're live on Monday, March 26, 2012. It is WrestleMania season, WrestleMania 28 this Sunday from Miami, Florida. The Pro Wrestling Report is going to be all over town. A huge weekend full of events, starting with the big Shenanigans Beach Party Friday night at Ocean's 10 on South Beach on Ocean Drive. Followed up on Saturday by the big taping with the Pro Wrestling Report, Chair Shots Reality, and Aftermath. And then Sunday, sweet and sexy, it's the WrestleMania Suite event from the Pro Wrestling Report. It's a great weekend to be a wrestling fan, but, you know, we can only watch it from afar. It is always great to be able to welcome guests onto this program who have been a part of those huge mega events, WrestleMania being the event of events. And right now we are joined by Kevin Nash, the man who is also going to be hosting, along with X-Pac, Friday night at the Shenanigans Beach Party on South Beach. Kevin Nash, welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report. Always a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks, man. How's it going?
It's a tremendous night.
Big, sexy. Are you ready for Miami?
Actually, I just got to have my blood changed out. Man, Keith Richards just got back from Switzerland, so I'm ready.
Well, Kevin, WrestleMania, like I said, this Sunday, you obviously are aware of what's going on. Big matchups featuring people you know very well. The Hell in a Cell match, one of the two main events for WrestleMania. It's Triple H versus the Heartbreak Kid, The Undertaker, rather, with Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. What perspective can you share on what you're expecting to see in this matchup?
I was listening when you guys were talking earlier how, you know, really you take away Rock and there's not a WrestleMania, that's the big match is, you know, Rock versus Cena. But I know if I was Rock and Cena, I sure as hell wouldn't want to follow the Hell in a Cell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it's going to be, you know, number one, they've got three players instead of two. They've got the Cell. They've got the storytelling ability. You know, what Taker and Triple H did last year was amazing.
Yeah,
I think I'm looking for this to be better. The thing is that I think they've done a really good job this year. Is you really don't know who's going to go over in these matches.
Yep.
And I think that, you know, I think they've made people, you know, actually this is one of those things where you have to buy it. And you know, I don't know who's going to go over in Cena Rock. I don't know who's going to go over in Taker and Triple H. I mean, I don't even know. You know, I'm not certain on the Punk and Jericho match.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, and I wouldn't. You know, I mean, that Jericho Punk match has a chance to be the Steamboat Savage match.
Yes,
absolutely. It has a chance to be that sleeper that all of a sudden you just go, whoa. So there's a lot. There's some really good stuff on the card. It's going to be a great 4 hours. It's going to be, you know, it is a great time to be a wrestling fan. Nobody does it like the WWE either. It's, you know, this is the Super Bowl, and we're all lucky enough to be a part of it.
Now, Kevin, as you look at these matchups, and as you just said, there are so many matches where you just don't know what's going to happen. Is that an element that, for the last couple of years in professional wrestling, has been missing?
I think so. I think another thing is that you know, I had one of my buddies who's, you know, is definitely smart. And he was talking to me the other day, and he said, geez, the last 4 weeks there's been more physical contact on the Antique Roadshow than there has on Raw. And I said, imagine that, not hot-shotting the pay-per-view and actually making people buy it to see the fights. Yeah. You know, it's like, you're the only show in town. Maybe you should make somebody, you know, you're going to charge 70. I mean, this is it. Like, you know, this is. I'm predicting this being probably the biggest selling WrestleMania. I can't see it not doing around 1.4 on buys.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think this is going to be huge. Great venue, great city. You know, it just. I mean, it's gonna be sweet.
What is the one match you're looking forward to seeing the most?
I mean, just because two of my best friends are in the cell, of course, I'll be taking particular, you know. But I mean, you know, there's nobody that's not looking forward to seeing The Rock. You know, to see how they, you know, how they, you know, how they get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, I mean, somebody could get beat clean. Is somebody gonna, you know, is this the first of three? Do we go, you know, somebody goes over clean here, somebody goes over in SummerSlam, and then we have the third one at WrestleMania next year to be the rubber match. I don't know how it's being booked. I have no idea, but you know, do you get one or do you get three?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
one of the things that people have talked about with this year's WrestleMania is, yes, it's going to sell a ton of pay-per-view buys, but they've also brought back Jericho, they've brought back Triple H, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and The Rock. 5 guys from the, you know, the Attitude Era that you were a big part of are the ones that are being used and being the focus points to sell this pay-per-view. Do you think that that's because the development of some of the younger stars hasn't been as strong as they had hoped for? Or what do you think is going forward? I mean, they've been talking about the end of an era. Is this the end of the Attitude Era at this pay-per-view?
You know, it's real close. I mean, I don't think it's there yet, but I think that this is you know, I would definitely, if it was my business and this was, you know, I mean, this isn't a private company anymore. This is a publicly traded company. This is a you know, this is the huge, you know, money maker for this quarter. It's inevitable that, you know, I mean, you're definitely going to go on bankable stars. And I'm not saying that there's not a ton of guys in the locker room. I mean, this is one of those things where, you know, there's a lot of guys that aren't going to be used, you know, to their fullest because, you know, they are using other guys. But I mean, yeah, Jericho's coming in, but he's going against CM Punk. It's not like, you know, Jericho's fighting Shawn Michaels. It's not like they're bringing back. It's not like the senior circuit. They're bringing back, you know, 10 matches. I mean, guys are being brought in, and to me, it's just, you know, Rock. Even though he was an era guy, Rock, you know, had a short. You know, he wasn't there for it. It's not like Rock had a 20-year career and he's come back.
Right.
Yeah. You know, so I think Dwayne's, you know, hasn't been really played out. I think the only real, you know, to me, old timer in this thing is Take. You know, I mean, Paul's only 42 years old. I mean, that 11 years ago when they shut down WCW, I think it was 11 years tonight.
Yeah, it was.
When they shut down WCW, I was 41. I didn't feel like I was at the end of my run.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I still think Paul's got a lot left to him. Not that he wants to. I know that he's focused on the business then. But you've got to do what you have to do to you only have so many opportunities in life to make this kind of a, you know, buy. And this is a business situation. I mean, the other guys will all get their chances. But right now, it's, you know, with the world kind of looking down at it, you got a chance to bring in a guy that's, you know, not only is he, like I've always said, they always bring in, you know, like Mike Tyson's going to the Hall of Fame, and they brought Mike Tyson. I think that the bringing in of Mike Tyson was basically the one pivotal thing that changed the battle between WCW and the WWE. I think that Tyson WrestleMania was the changing point. and they've got an opportunity to bring in somebody with the same kind of star power as Mike Tyson. They're bringing in Dwayne, who just happens to be one of the boys who just happens to have done $1 billion in box office, motion picture wise. So I mean, not only are you bringing somebody in, that you don't have to worry about, snugging one of your guys with a non-working bunch, but the guy that you're kind of focusing and bringing in as your celebrity star is one of the boys. So I mean, it's just it's kind of a perfect storm. And once again, I mean, I think everybody's really pretty excited about it because everything's just the stars kind of feel like they've kind of aligned perfectly for this WrestleMania, and I just hope that that it ends up panning out to be what we all expect it to be.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report. We are live with Kevin Nash, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, talking about WrestleMania, talking about the really amazing card top to bottom. And, Kevin, I think it's important to ask because everyone's talking about it nowadays. Most recently, X-Pac was also going to be joining us Friday at the beach party. All this talking about The Rock and whether or not he should have that place on the card at WrestleMania. Now, we've talked on this program before about your reputation at times backstage and the misconceptions that those of us who are outside of backstage have about what's going on in the minds of some of the people that are making these decisions. Well, what do you make about all this discussion from some of the wrestlers, both publicly and privately, about the fact that The Rock is taking away their spot, if you will, at WrestleMania?
Well, I mean, you can only have your spot taken away by somebody that can take your spot away from you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, if Shawn Michaels was in his prime, do you think Shawn Michaels would be going out last? I think he would.
Yep.
It's one of those things. Hey, Rock's the Rock. He came out at Survivor Series, and I was sitting at the monitor, and I was looking, and I said to a couple of guys sitting there, I said, isn't it amazing that he's the only guy that actually looks better than his video character?
Oh, fantastic.
It was almost like I was watching like the video. I think I said, is this his entrance, or are we watching a commercial for WrestleMania 12? And it's one of those things. I mean, I've had my run-ins with Dwayne, as everybody has. But you know what? You got to give the guy credit. The guy's got charisma. The guy's special, and that's just that. And if you can't man up and say that he is special and he deserves what he's getting. Somebody asked me the other day, I was talking to Keller, and he was saying a lot of guys are saying, he's got a bodyguard, he's got a rider and private dressing room and this and that. He goes, what do you think about that? Why does he do all these things? I said, because he can.
Right, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
If somebody else was to say that, they'd be like, no.
But you say because you can, if others could, wouldn't they as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's pretty basic and standard and you know this, Kevin, it's pretty standard in the entertainment industry to have those things as part of your working for, a project.
If I walked on a movie set and they said, hey, listen, man, we couldn't get a small trailer. Do you mind taking the 70-footer? No, I'll wait. I'll wait till you bring me a small one. Come on, really? Everybody. I mean, National Rental Car makes their whole pitch is, you ask for a full size, but you might get a premium.
Right.
And you might get a free upgrade. Everybody's looking for an upgrade in life. Rock's, like I said, Rock is in a different stratosphere as far as, curating and entertainment is. Out there for a while, I thought he was a combination of Jude Law and Michael Caine. He was in every movie that came out. And every time I get any kind of printout on a movie that's in pre-production, it's always got Dwayne's name attached to it.
Yeah,
as they're hopeful for the lead. So it's just like it is what it is. I can deal with it. I'm just happy it's one of our guys, because I look at the big picture, just like it's one thing if he would have, been a star in wrestling, then went to major motion pictures and became a star there and never came back. He's come back, and he's headlining WrestleMania, which makes wrestling once again seem very, very chill, and it shows that it's such a viable entertainment product. Pro wrestling is. I'll probably get in trouble. I'll get yelled at when I get there for not saying sports entertainment. But it's still. This is The Rock is great for us, and it's great for all the guys, because they look and they say, "Geez, if this guy came from that world and is this successful and this has the ability to adapt so well to the big screen, maybe we've got some other guys we can look at."
Kevin, why do you think The Rock came back?
I'm sorry?
Why do you think The Rock came back?
I can't speak for him, but I know that you can do all the motion pictures you want, and even if you're on a huge production and you hit a home run when you nail a scene or you do something like that, you might get 25 people to say, "Wow, you really killed that scene. You really knocked it out of the park." Or you do a fight scene, you stand up, and it's just there's nothing quite that can ever take the place of doing something in front of 60, 70,000 people and getting that immediate response and knowing that I'm going to do this move next and I'm going to completely shut this building down. It's going to be, you're going to hear the psychological power that it gives a human being to know that I'm going to do something that's going to make them cheer. I'm going to do something that makes them quiet. I'm going to do something. You're doing that live in front of 70,000 people. That's only in that field, unless you're, the Foo Fighters or somebody like that, that are doing stadium shows on a nightly basis. But
when you were on our program last January after returning at the Royal Rumble, you made that point for yourself, actually, saying how amazing that feeling was to be back in a large arena and to get the pop that you got, and just it's an experience that you can't really articulate, having not, from our end at least, experienced it. But I can only imagine how great that must feel to just have that immediate feedback, whether good or bad, that immediate feedback from a live audience.
And we were all in the Monday Night Wars, where it became so commonplace to walk out every night in front of 25,000, 30,000 people that it became second nature. And you didn't really appreciate it because it was just the work environment that you had on a weekly basis. But when you're away from it and you come back and you get it, it's just like, oh, wow. Like you almost appreciate it even more because it was so commonplace back then, and now it's not as commonplace. But this run, I've watched the shows. I mean, the houses have been live, and it's been a great run to WrestleMania.
I was speaking to a non-wrestling fan today, and the question, knowing WrestleMania is happening this Sunday, the question that was asked was not when, not where, not what's the main event, but the question that was asked of me was, who is The Rock wrestling? And I think that sort of sums it all up right there. People are going to be watching this WrestleMania in large part because The Rock is participating in it in a major matchup on the card. But, before we get to WrestleMania, Kevin, this Friday night is the party.
That's really what what they did was they found out about 3 years ago, Dave and I planned to have this party down in Miami.
Uh-huh.
And X-Pac said, yeah, I'm in. So we started, thinking about it. WWE caught wind of it and actually built WrestleMania around our party. which is so typical of them. But, I'm going to let it slide because it is going to bring some people into Miami that normally wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let it slide and not press charges. But I was
no cease and desist. Mm-hmm.
No, we thought about it, but we said no. That's not the way we operate. So there's plenty of room for all of us.
Huge people, huge names scheduled to be there. In addition to yourself, obviously, as the host, along with Sean X-Pac Waltman, Robbie E. and Robbie T. from TNA are going to be there. Billy Gunn, Diamond Dallas Page, the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrasher, WWE Hall of Famer Sonny, Harry Smith, and Rikishi, all scheduled to appear as part of that big party Friday night at Ocean's 10. This club is amazing, by the way, and once we get there and once the party starts, you all will see just how great it is. But there is no experience like it in Miami as part of WrestleMania. There might be a couple of autograph signings and whatnot, but this is literally a party and an opportunity to meet and talk to and get autographs and get pictures with some of the biggest stars in professional wrestling, namely you, Kevin. And it is an honor to be participating in such an amazing event with you. And our fans from all over the world are looking forward to this part. I was actually speaking to the venue today, and he was a little taken aback by how many calls and inquiries they had gotten there about the event. So it's going to be huge. But what can you say, or what do you want to make sure everybody knows what to expect? What would you say to expect this Friday night at the big party at Ocean's 10?
Well, I mean, I think that what we're trying to do is, I mean, this is going to be a huge weekend. And not to take anything away from Access, but this is something that's a little bit more R-rated.
A little bit,
a little bit more adult themed, and we're going to go ahead and set the debt cord off to the weekend and make sure that the weekend starts with a bang. The shenanigans begin and don't stop until in the wee hours of Sunday night.
Now, Kev, I've heard that this place does not close until 5 a.m.
That sums it up, folks.
All that means is bring your shades. That walk out to the car is going to be rough in the morning.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, Diamond Dallas Page, do you think he's going to be bringing the YRG on Friday night?
Oh, there's no doubt. He'll have some people in up dog and warrior position, and he'll at some point I'm going to look over. He'll have a Coors Light in his hand with a lime stuck in it. with his knee stuck to his ear. Exactly. I wouldn't want it any other way.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Kevin, we don't want to take up too much of your time. We always appreciate talking to you. Can't wait to see you on Friday. You can get tickets for the big Shenanigans Beach Party at PWRshow.com. Tickets online available all week long. Tickets will be available at the door as well on Friday night, March 30th.
I got a question for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was under house arrest because my wife won't watch wrestling, so I'm right now at the point where on Raw where Dwayne's coming down the ring. So this last segment, priceless. Is it pretty good?
Honestly, it took him a year to get to the point tonight with the promo between Rock and Cena. All the other stuff they have done before may have been entertaining, but this in-ring promo between the two guys is the one that if you weren't going to buy the pay-per-view before, you were definitely going to buy it tonight.
Great, because I stopped at 11:35 and I called you guys right when he came. Dwayne is just on his way to the ring. So, Kev,
real quick, you spent some time with John Cena on your last run up there. You know, when you're doing your program with Triple H and whatnot.
Yes.
And you have said to me that he's the guy. He's the workhorse, and you know he gets it, and he understands the business. Do you think John Cena needs to win Sunday, or can he afford to let The Rock go over?
Oh, I without a doubt. I mean, you know, John is. You guys talked earlier about Big Show and Cody Rhodes when I first came on, and the Big Show was a brand and that, it doesn't hurt him. I mean, I think one thing we've seen is in this run to WrestleMania with the crowd, and I watched firsthand every night with the crowd. John would come out and it was chic to say Cena sucks, and then you leave and you leave in your SUV and you get stuck in traffic going back to the hotel, and every kid from 5 to 12 years old has got Cena hat, a Cena shirt, and Cena wristbands on for a grand total of like $85 a head. And this is a guy that I've seen him do 6 Make-A-Wishes in a night. He's on the road. I think he lives in that mobile home.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a beautiful travel trailer, but I don't care what anybody said. It's a mobile home. It ain't your crib. It ain't you don't have a backyard. He makes the best of what he does, but when they say that it's the end of an era, I would have to say just on the fact of spending time with John and his understanding of the business and being brought into the business by guys like Taker and guys like that showed John what the business was. Put it this way, there's nobody when I went back there, he was the only guy that every night on the European tour, when it was 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, it was still Cena sitting across from me with still a half a bottle of Jack, and it was just like, he never tapped, I never tapped, and it's just like, end of an era ain't dead till that boy's gone. I got mad props for Cena. He's a real good dude.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Big, sexy Kevin Nash. You'll be able to see him and meet him and talk to him Friday. Shenanigans Beach Party, South Beach, Oceans 10, PWRshow.com for all the information on that. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to seeing you on Friday. And enjoy the rest of Raw, and hopefully you will enjoy The Rock and John Cena as much as we did.
Just tell these people don't come if they're timid, because it's going to get crazy.
Shenanigans is the name. Thank you so much, Kevin Nash. This is the Pro Wrestling Report. We're going to take a time out. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you briefly and then go right into our next guest, King Kong Bundy. This is the Pro Wrestling Report Monday Night Meltdown. We'll be back in just a moment.